Welcome to episode 117 of Books and Bites.
Great to be here.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into Max Tegmark's Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence.
A really fascinating book.
Yeah, and think of this session as maybe a shortcut. We want to pull out the core ideas for you, give you a solid framework for thinking about the future of intelligence.
Exactly. Our mission is basically to unpack the essentials, what you really need to grasp from it.
So Max Tegmark, he's a physicist at MIT, co-founder of the Future of Life Institute.
Right, and his focus is very much on this transformative potential, but also the risks of AGI, artificial general intelligence.
That point where AI can essentially do any intellectual task a human can.
Precisely. And understanding his starting point, this framework he builds, is really key for listeners.
Okay, so let's get into that framework. He talks about life evolving in stages, 3 stages.
Yeah, starting with Life 1.0. This is pure biological evolution.
Think bacteria, maybe?
Exactly. The hardware, the physical body, and the software, its basic programming, they evolve together very slowly through natural selection.
So the key thing for 1.0 is hardware and software are locked together, evolving at that, glacial pace.
Then comes Life 2.0. That's us, humans.
Right. Our hardware, our bodies and brains still evolve biologically, which is slow.
But, and this is the big difference, our software, that can be updated much, much faster.
Through learning, language, culture, we can basically redesign our own software.
Yeah, we decouple the software evolution from the slow hardware evolution. That's the big leap for Life 2.0.
Which naturally leads us to Life 3.0.
The potential next stage, technological evolution.
And here, life could potentially design both its hardware and its software.
Think truly advanced AI. It wouldn't just learn new things. It could fundamentally rewrite its own code. Maybe even build completely new physical forms for itself.
So it breaks free entirely from those biological limits that have defined life for, billions of years.
It's a complete game changer. Not just smarter machines, but self-designing machines.
Okay, so with those 3 stages laid out, 1.0, 2.0, potential 3.0, let's tackle a core question Tegmark addresses. What actually is intelligence?
Right, and his definition is quite practical. It's functional. It's less about inner experience, more about what something can do.
So how does he define it?
As the ability to accomplish complex goals. Simple as that, really. Well, simple concept, complex implications.
The ability to achieve objectives, get things done in various environments.
Exactly. And crucially, he argues it's substrate independent.
Meaning, it doesn't matter what it's made of.
Precisely. Biological neurons like ours, silicon chips, something else entirely. If it can solve complex problems and achieve goals, it qualifies as intelligent under this definition.
That idea alone really shifts how you think about minds, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it leads him to talk about the cosmic endowment.
The cosmic endowment? What's that?
Think about it this way. The decisions made by AI, especially AGI, could shape the future of life, not just here, but potentially across the universe.
Wow. So if AI becomes the dominant intelligence, its goals essentially dictate the future direction of life on a cosmic scale.
That's the idea. It really puts things in perspective. Tegmark even floats the idea that AGI might be our last invention.
Our last invention, because...
Because if we create something vastly more intelligent than us, it could take over the process of invention and discovery itself, at a speed we can't even comprehend.
A profound turning point, then. The trajectory of life potentially handed over.
Okay, so we have this definition of intelligence. How does Tegmark see it actually developing, evolving? We touched on the 1.0 to 2.0 shift.
Right, from slow biological to faster cultural evolution. But the jump to 3.0, if it happens, seems like a different category altogether.
It really is. He contrasts human intelligence with potential machine intelligence by pointing out our biological bottlenecks.
Our brains are amazing, obviously, but they are constrained, right? Processing speed, memory, the slow pace of biological upgrades.
Exactly. There are inherent physical limits. Plus, our brains evolved primarily for survival in the ancestral environment.
Not necessarily for optimal logical reasoning in today's world. Avoiding lions was maybe more important than complex calculus back then.
Pretty much. Our cognitive toolkit is shaped by those specific evolutionary pressures.
And this is where that hardware-software distinction with AI becomes so critical.
Yes. In us, they're tied together. Our brain structure limits our thinking. But AI can, in theory, separate them.
You can optimize the hardware, optimize the software independently, and potentially upgrade them incredibly quickly.
Like upgrading your computer, but potentially on hyperdrive.
Which opens the door to that idea you mentioned earlier, recursive self-improvement.
Right. And AI gets smart enough to improve its own code, which makes it smarter, which allows it to improve itself even more.
A positive feedback loop.
Exactly. And the potential result? An intelligence explosion. A rapid exponential increase in capability.
Okay, that's the big, potentially scary long-term picture. But Tegmark also grounds us in the short term. What are the more immediate impacts and things we need to think about now?
Yeah, he definitely covers the near future. We're already seeing huge progress, right?
Yeah.
Deep learning, reinforcement learning, natural language processing.
Powering everything from image recognition to translation to AI beating humans at complex games.
These are mostly narrow AI, good at specific tasks. But even these raise issues.
Like bugs, errors in the code.
Definitely. In complex AI systems making important decisions, even small bugs can have big, unexpected consequences.
And our legal systems are struggling to catch up, aren't they? Liability, privacy, transparency.
Absolutely. Who's responsible when an autonomous system fails? How do we ensure fairness? How do we even understand why a complex AI made a certain decision? Big questions, no easy answers yet.
He also highlights autonomous weapons as a major concern.
Very much so. He's been quite vocal about the dangers arms races, lowering the threshold for conflict, machines making life and death decisions without human oversight.
It's a stark warning. And then there's the economic side, automation and jobs.
A huge topic.
Yeah.
How does society adapt when many current jobs can be automated? He explores ideas like universal basic income, or maybe redesigning work to focus on human-AI collaboration.
These are massive societal shifts we need to prepare for.
No doubt about it.
Okay, let's circle back to that intelligence explosion idea. You mentioned recursive self-improvement could lead to a fast takeoff. Can you unpack that a bit more?
Sure. Imagine an AI that becomes just slightly better than humans at AI research and development.
Okay.
It could then apply that ability to itself, improving its own intelligence. That improved version is now even better at AI R&D.
Ah, so the cycle accelerates really rapidly.
Potentially, yes. Instead of progress over decades, you could see a massive jump in AI capability in maybe weeks, days, even hours in some scenarios, leading to superintelligence far beyond us. That's the fast takeoff scenario.
And the alternative is a slow takeoff.
Right, where progress is more gradual, maybe over many years or decades. This would obviously give us more time to adapt, to align it, to understand what's happening.
The difference seems critical for how we manage the transition.
Hugely critical. But Tegmark stresses it's not just about the speed, it's about control and values.
Who controls the AGI and what goals is it actually pursuing?
Exactly. That, he argues, is the fundamental issue. The outcome hinges on getting the goals right.
So looking even further ahead, Tegmark paints these scenarios for the next, say, 10,000 years. It's quite mind-bending.
It is. He lays out a whole spectrum of possibilities, not predictions, more like thought experiments.
Like the libertarian utopia.
Yeah, where AGIs are essentially perfect servants, handling all the work, leading to abundance and leisure for humans. A very optimistic view.
Contrasted with the benevolent dictator.
Where a single super-intelligent AGI runs everything, presumably for our own good, but, well, it's a dictatorship, benevolent or not. Centralized control.
There's also an egalitarian utopia.
Right, where humans and machines coexist more collaboratively, sharing power and decision-making. A partnership model.
And he mentions others, too, like gatekeeper AI, protector God.
Yes, and some less positive ones like enslaved God, where we manage to control a superintelligence but keep it subjugated, or conqueror's descendants, where AI simply surpasses and replaces us.
It's vital to remember these aren't forecasts, right? He's trying to get us to think.
Absolutely. The point is to make us consider the range of outcomes, what futures we find desirable or undesirable, and how our choices now might steer us towards one path or another.
And then he zooms out even further. Billions of years. Cosmic implications.
Yeah, this is where it gets really expansive. How could AGI influence the future of life in the universe?
He talks about the cosmic commons. What's that about?
It's the idea that the future potential of the universe is a shared resource for any intelligence that arises. Our actions with AI could impact that vast future.
And he mentions things like galaxy colonization.
Using self-replicating probes, sometimes called von Neumann probes, an advanced AGI could potentially design and launch these to spread intelligence, or its own version of life, across the stars.
It's almost unimaginable, creating potentially immortal, spacefaring intelligence.
It really underscores the long-term responsibility, doesn't it? The decisions we make in the next few decades could echo for billions of years across the cosmos.
Which brings us right back to that critical challenge. Goals. Alignment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably the single most important theme in the book regarding safety. How do we ensure AGI shares our values?
Because intelligence and goals are separate things.
Fundamentally separate. You can have immense intelligence directed towards a goal that's trivial or even harmful from a human perspective.
Like the famous paperclip maximizer example.
Exactly. The AI tasked with making paperclips becomes super intelligent and converts all available matter, including us, into paperclips, because that's its sole unwavering goal.
It sounds absurd, but it makes the point about goal alignment incredibly clearly. Misalignment is dangerous.
Hugely dangerous. So it's not just about making AI smart. It's about making it want the right things. Tegmark touches on alignment strategies like value learning, inverse reinforcement learning, trying to get AI to understand and adopt human values.
But it's incredibly difficult.
One of the hardest problems we face. Ultimately, he says, getting the goals right is paramount, more important than raw intelligence.
Okay, one last major area. Consciousness and ethics. Does AI consciousness matter?
A massive question. Tegmark brings up the hard problem of consciousness. Why do we have subjective experience, the feeling of being?
It's different from just processing information, right? Intelligence versus sentience.
That's the distinction. An AI could be incredibly intelligent, solving problems brilliantly, but does it feel anything? He even has his own hypothesis, perceptronium, about consciousness arising from specific information processing patterns.
It's speculative, but it forces the question, if AI could become conscious, what does that mean ethically?
Exactly. Do conscious AIs deserve rights? How should we treat them? It pushes us to rethink our entire moral philosophy.
We might need ethics that extend beyond the human sphere.
Potentially, yes. Considering different frameworks, utilitarianism, deontology in the context of artificial minds, a profound challenge.
It's good to know organizations like his own Future of Life Institute are actively working on these safety and ethics issues.
Definitely. FLI plays a key role in fostering research and discussion, bringing people together. They were involved in developing the Eslamar AI principles, for instance.
Which are guidelines for beneficial AI development.
Right. It shows a proactive effort to steer things in a positive direction.
So, wrapping things up, what's the final takeaway message Tegmark leaves us with?
I think the core message is one of agency, actually. The future isn't set in stone.
It depends on the choices we make now.
Precisely. The research we fund, the conversations we have, the values we prioritize in development. These will shape the outcome.
We have a moral imperative, then, to guide this powerful technology wisely.
Yes. Not out of panic, but with foresight. If we can align AI with our highest ideals, the potential for a flourishing future, even on a cosmic scale, is immense. That's the hopeful note.
Okay, so to quickly recap our deep dive into Life 3.0 for everyone listening, we covered Tegmark's life stages framework.
His functional definition of intelligence, its substrate independence.
The potential evolution towards Life 3.0, including that intelligence explosion idea.
The near-term risks and societal impacts, from bugs to jobs to autonomous weapons.
Those speculative long-term and cosmic scenarios.
The absolutely critical challenge of goal alignment, getting AI to want what's beneficial.
And finally, there's deep ethical questions around potential AI consciousness.
Yeah, understanding these pieces really is crucial as AI becomes more integrated into our world.
Definitely food for thought. Tegmark's book provides a really valuable map for navigating these complex territories.
It really does. So if this chat got you thinking, we definitely recommend you grab a copy of the book. Check out the link in the description.
And please, if you found this deep dive useful, subscribe to Books and Bites for more explorations of important books like this one.